It's the Let's Call For Plastisol, competition barely. Come discuss the field with your host Christy and Jeremy. Have a drink, kick your feet up, watch the ink, and get ready for a motion. Notice hearing what you think. Shout out, Monarch Color, Blue Ridge, they're the best. Core Kim hold it down like the automatic press. BMI, they've been sticking with our team. Hey, you know that they are go-to for whenever that we need. Last call, Plastisol, last call. The last call, Plastisol, last call. Last call, Plastisol, last call. The last call, Plastisol.
How's it going?
Hi. It's pretty good. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. We are coming to you from... by the way, I'm Jeremy and this is Christy. This is
Last Call for Plastisol.
We are doing this from our very new
Grass wall. Because why wouldn't your screen printing shop need a grass wall?
Why wouldn't it? It's so cool, you guys. We were just at Ryan and Megan at P&M, and they had a really cool showroom.
Yeah.
And
they did. I love it.
Yeah. And I feel like this is unique to us, too. This is pretty cool.
Yeah. This is one of those I saw on Pinterest at a store. And when we were moving into the shop, I was like, I have to have this.
It's cool. It's nice that we get to do the kind of stuff we want to do.
Yeah.
In a space and kind of grow it.
For sure.
Hey, so those of you tuning in, this is the normal time where we would do sponsors for the podcast. But we're going to hold off on that until the end, and we'll tell you why in a little bit. So stick around.
But first, we don't have a guest today, just me and Jeremy.
Yep.
Shooting the shit. So we're going to talk about some of the things that we've been doing at our shop and go into sales for a little bit. But first off, I'm sure you guys have seen, if you follow Rock Hill Screen Printing, we just had a giant grand reopening party. Jeremy, tell me about it.
It was a blur. It was a blur. Sure was. It was like, I think it was like anxiety going up to it, like all the things that needed to be done, and is anybody going to show up? And then it was like, oh crap.
They're coming.
They came in waves.
Yeah. And
when they came in waves, it was like, I can't talk to everybody. And then I totally forgot there was food.
Yeah.
I never ate.
My face literally hurt from smiling so much.
Right. Yeah, you know how you get sick of talking to people after a while? That's you kind of got. I think we got to that point in 2 hours.
In 2 hours, and that's what a lot of people. When I was planning the party for us, I said I think 2 hours is enough, and on a Thursday because people usually should go out of town for the weekend and stuff. So Thursday is a good night to get people to your shop. I wanted to do it short and sweet, jam people in here because we have a pretty big facility for us, 12,000 square feet. So I wanted to make it feel full.
Yeah.
So we probably had about 200 people here, between 150 and 200 people.
How did
came in waves?
Yeah. So we RSVP'd for that, right?
Yes, I did an Evite. We spent a little bit of money on the Evite, so it had like animation and glitter, and it was exciting when you opened it. It was custom addressed for people, and I would recommend that. So it's not just this, hey, here's a standard email, please come to our party.
Yeah, usually the Evites end up in your junk mail. So I was surprised that like so many people immediately started responding. Mm-hmm. So I was happy because of that, you know.
Yeah.
And then I was not happy that I got added to the info line because my freaking email jumped from like 8 to like 172.
Yeah. So
like
every time someone said yes or no or like sent us a little note, Jeremy got copied on it.
So I took myself off.
Yeah. I kind of liked reading all those things though, because a lot of people were like, oh, I can't make it, but like so happy for you guys. And all that. So
here's what I found interesting about the party is all right. So one, we did it for our customers.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden the industry wanted to be involved.
Yes. Well, I started inviting people.
You started inviting people. That's awesome. So
if I'm going to have a party and I'm going to put in that work, I'm just going to invite everybody I know.
Yeah. And so that's what I found interesting is because, you know, there was not only people coming in from just our customers.
Yeah.
But then on top of that, Gildan sent 2 people.
Mm-hmm. That was really nice of them.
Carolina Maid came and showed up and brought 2 people.
Yep. Our boy Trey at Carolina Made too. He really hooked us up. I had a meeting with him and said, hey, like, are there any other shirt manufacturers that you think would want to be involved? And he was kind enough to make the connections for me to get Cotton Heritage, and All We Do Is involved. So we had a different shirt brand on every press, and Gildan, of course, Comfort Colors gave us some tees too, and they came out as well. So it was really nice to be able to show our customers 3 different shirt brands, how they differ, how they're all equally awesome.
Yeah.
They just have different qualities.
Yeah, and actually they were pretty similar. Like I felt like they were like the garment. There was several garment dyed.
I love garment dyed
right,
shirts.
and pigment. So yeah, pigment dyed and garment dyed. Is this Cotton Heritage?
Yes,
this is garment dyed too.
Mm-hmm.
This is a really cool shirt, y'all.
I do like that shirt.
Yeah,
I was surprised. That was my sleeper agent shirt.
Yeah, I love the design too. So Monarch came through with ink on top of that. Last minute, they basically gave a specialty ink to work with.
So every press, we had different print techniques going. We had different shirt brands on every press. So when customers came in, we kind of used it as not only come see our new shop, come celebrate it with us, but also come get educated about the things that you may not see us doing, or you may not think that we could do every single day.
Yeah. And then we had a food truck.
Yes.
That like I said, I didn't eat.
It was really good.
Nate ate, I think. Did you eat?
He got me one, and I put the barbecue sandwich in my office until after.
I gotcha.
But it was still good cold.
So, yeah, then we had Slow Play Brewery come in, and they're so good to us.
Yes.
Ben and his team
they
are
very nice.
so good to us. We ended up sharing the load on the kegs, but they donated 2 kegs to us. We got 2 more kegs, which I thought, pony kegs, 60 beers a piece. We'll have plenty of leftover. We had a little bit of each leftover, but it wasn't like we had a ton left over.
Yeah.
So it was free beer.
And then U.S. Beverage gave us some seltzers, ciders too.
Yeah.
So that was nice of them.
You know, it was cool. So Sleeping Giant was here too, and they did their rum, and they actually made cocktails for people.
They did.
So
I wasn't expecting that.
I wasn't expecting
so cool.
that. Yeah. And the guy's got a really cool handlebar mustache thing going on.
Yes.
That's pretty neat.
I don't know how I feel about those mustaches.
I don't know. I can't do it.
Yeah. No, it's more like I just can't stop looking at them like, how is this possible?
I know.
And then I feel awkward.
It is weird because you're sitting there and you're like, I can't stop looking at your mustache while I'm talking to you.
Totally.
So that was cool. But then, I lost my train of thought. So Sleeping Giant, and then, who else was here?
So the other thing that I did for this event is I had our sales gals invite any business that orders shirts from us that they could set up a table for free. And we had quite a few businesses.
We had somebody who, Massage Luxe, was doing massages in our front office here.
Yeah, everybody loved that.
We had a Chow Chow brand, Mama's Homemade Chow Chow.
Cornbread from her too. And then like Class 101, Mentally Shredded is our charity partner for the event, and Air Guardians.
What was cool is like we put the word out, but then all of a sudden like we also had banners out in the front yard. Yeah. Right. And Holiday Inn drove past and was like, "Hey, I see you guys are having a party. Here's some discounted rooms or something."
Yeah,
like, or whatever.
They did, which I was like, do you want to be a salesperson here?
No kidding. Like that's pretty cool. So I think all in all, it was a huge success. Yeah. And
I think so too.
But I want to transition here because you did something unique, which I was unsure about. And then nobody, like there wasn't enough time in the night to finish the hat bar. Yeah. So explain the hat bar.
So first off, you should just trust me from now on.
Okay. I just didn't know about it. Like it just seemed like I don't know.
So the hat bar was something that I saw on TikTok. Okay. And it's trending right now. Hat bars everywhere. Okay. So what it is there's different ways to do it, but you get blank trucker hats, and then you set them up, and then you have like little templated papers where people can lay out patches and design their own hat on it, and then you use heat tape over the patches and you just transfer that onto the hat. And so it's a very customizable experience. You know, we always go to these events and we do like live heat pressing or live screen printing, but it's kind of cumbersome and stuff. But this hat bar is so easy to set up, and people were geeking out over it.
You said it was so easy to set up. It was so easy to run. I think your daughter was
She was
waiting on customers.
She did.
Like, and not customers, but just people just waiting and for their turn.
Yeah, she's a hustler.
Yeah.
But yes, my 12-year-old daughter ran the hat bar.
That was awesome.
Yeah, she's so excited about it too. I think we're going to do another one at Slow Play next month. So.
Yes, it was. So explain the patches though. Like, so it ends up being like iron-on stuff that you can get online. Yeah.
So we just because I didn't know if this was gonna work or not. Like I believed it would work, and it's trending right now.
Yeah,
so I thought people
worked.
would be into it. But based on the crowd, you never know how people are going to take to things. So I just bought random patch packets from Amazon, which you can get them cheaper other places if you know what kind of patches you want and all that. But I just did like generic packs of patches, and then letter patches, like Chanel patches. And then let people lay them out. And we just said, hey, pick out 3 patches for free, and your hat, everything's free. And then our graphic designer, gosh, he was the rock star of this whole
the
thing.
Banner and
he
everything.
made like a templated, this is how you do it. Step 1 is pick your hat. Step 2 is pick your patches, lay out your patches on the template. And then step 3 is press it, and then step 5 or whatever is wear your hat. And he had like little Dexter wearing a hat. We'll have to post a picture of the
I'm
banner he
thinking
did.
you take it the next step further and you invite people to consult with you on how to do a hat bar for them.
Sure.
And then you could share the
It's very
stuff
very simple, and it's
for a small fee.
just send Bear. It'll be fine.
Yeah. No, but I think it was great. I think that was the hit of the party.
Yes.
For sure.
And now people want us to go places and do the hat bar.
That's where I was like, yeah. And, you know, it wasn't our intention to get business necessarily from it. It was really, I mean, we're all about having a good time.
Yes.
Right. But it was like, it wasn't like fully intentional, but it was it was a byproduct of doing something like this, was that we ended up getting business from it.
It's very Instagrammable, which is what you want. You want free marketing from the people attending your events. Very Instagrammable. People are laughing. They're having a good time. It's interactive. But then also, if you think about it, if you create something like that that's super interactive, you can take it other places. And maybe you're not making a ton of money on the event you're taking places, but it's free interactive marketing where you're getting to talk to people that maybe normally wouldn't come up to just your table that says Rock Hill Screen Printing.
Right.
They remember you.
Yeah. And what was neat about it was like the food truck guy. Like food trucks are sometimes hard to get because they have a minimum quantity and all that other stuff. This guy came in and then immediately was like, I want shirts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he thought it was cool. The slow play guy thought it was super cool. In fact, he made buddies with the rum guy.
Yeah.
So they had a really good time over there.
Yeah.
Like, and we brought in a 90s acoustic guitar player, Donnie Honeycutt.
Yeah. I was mad that he didn't play longer.
I know. He said he was feeling a little sick, but he did play for his full 2 hours.
Yeah.
We paid for that. We also paid for, what else did we pay for?
The 2 kegs of beer.
The 2 kegs of beer. The photographer.
Oh, yeah, the photographer. Yep.
And
That's
we hired a professional photographer to come in and not only take pictures of the event, but also do a reel for us.
Yeah.
And that was probably them and the really the cost of maybe some of the supplies that we did for the hat bar.
Yeah.
And some of the beer, and were like the biggest expenses maybe.
Yeah. So we probably put in $1,000 total.
Yeah.
And that would be like maybe overshooting how much we actually spent.
And then what do you think the benefit was to us in dollar amounts? I mean, it's like way over that, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. The connections we've made, the impact in the community, just people talking about us again and not talking like, oh, these guys are just trying to hammer shirts down our throats.
Yeah.
It's like, this place is cool.
Yeah. And that I love that. Like, you're right. We're not. doing that. We're not hammering anything down anybody's throat, but we like people like celebrated with us.
Yeah.
Which was really cool.
Yeah.
Like, and I feel like they felt like that family vibe. Like, hey, we are so happy to be here and celebrate with you guys.
The other thing that was pretty cool that we haven't touched on is, we've been hiring up our staff lately. And so a lot of people haven't been with us for that long. Like within the last 6 months, I think I counted like half our staff is new over the last 6 months. So it was nice to show them like, hey, we're in this and we're doing something different and cool and something that they all brought their families and their families were super excited to be here. So,
I thought it was cool the way it was approached too. It was like you definitely had a plan to like to basically mingle them, connect them with a shirt vendor. You had like our art guy out there explaining the process.
Yeah.
You had different girls in different locations walking through the printing technique to be able to talk to the customer while it was being printed. And then there was also the reps that were out there. Gildan was out there. Carolina Maid was out there, and they were talking through the things.
Yeah.
The ink guy was out there. Ian from Monarch was out there talking through stuff. I thought it was really cool. Jeff from Stampinator came in and talked through the Stampinator with some customers. Yeah. He got business out of it. Frank Dudzik, Fun Size Frank came in. He was talking with customers. Yeah. Aaron Blank came in. He was talking to customers. So it was really cool to see these people show up.
Yeah. And we didn't point out, we invited a bunch of shops too.
Yes, we did.
So, and they showed up.
They showed up.
Which was awesome.
Somebody that hasn't stepped foot in our shop in the history of our 8 years showed up.
Yeah.
And she was like, cool. I'm here, cool. And let me show you what we're doing. It's pretty cool. And that was
and I think she got Print Grips that day too.
Print Grip was here. Ben from Print Grip was here. And man, I start to think about it and I'm like, are you
going to cry?
No, we just got really, we're very supported.
Yeah, we are.
And this wasn't a podcast thing.
No,
and
just us.
But Rock came in too.
You know what? We haven't touched on that. And the last podcast that we did, we had Colton from Rock on there. That was actually what we recorded right before the party. And what a cool guy.
Yeah.
And how cool of it was, like, Rock sent somebody just to hang.
Do you know what happened? Like, do they know? I don't think they know.
Anybody knows.
So there's like this thing called Instagram Reels, and we did a live one or something, right? Was it just Instagram Live?
I think it was just.
And we were just kind of shooting the shit and about the party, and then it was like I just off the cuff opened my mouth and inserted my foot, right? And I said, "Hey, Rock, if you want to put a machine in my shop, show up to the parties, bro," or something like that.
And they did.
And how soon after did we get that email?
Like the next day. I was laughing so hard.
We get an email and it comes into the info line, which went to everybody. Yeah. And it's like, "Hey, heard your reel, LOL." I laughed out loud nervously with a sweating emoji or something. And he's like, "I hope nobody's bothering you to put something in your shop." But
what was cool is they were like, "We got you. We'll send somebody."
But they sent somebody.
And they didn't just send anybody. Like Colton is a sleeper agent. He knows everything about ink and on press. Like we were troubleshooting our prints right beforehand and he was helping out and he was talking to our art guy.
And we picked his brain and he went into it. And the kid's talented.
He sure is. Yeah.
Yeah. So please go back and watch that one because you're going to learn a lot about them and him. And it was really cool.
Yeah. So what else from the party? I think so the outcome of the party was great. I know we're not just going to talk about how great our party was, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But we have been ramping up sales and marketing for Rock Hill Screen Printing. And I'm just really big, and that's my role here.
Yep.
But I'm really big into doing things a little bit outside of the box. I just don't want to be sending an email every day, like a newsletter. And I don't want to be cold calling people. I like warm calls. I like connection. I like, going and playing golf or pickleball or whatever, and like making connections that way. And I believe people buy from people, not just companies.
Yeah.
And, like it's much easier if you make a mistake or anything like that, if people know that you're a real person. So like, how do we take that in our business and like make that the standard? We are real people. We're a family. It made me laugh. And I was just like, my heart was warm today. Somebody called and he was like, I think I've been working with you. And I was like, well, no, the girls are eating lunch right now. You're probably working with Haley or Kelsey or somebody. And he was like, well, you guys are just all a big family there anyway. And I go,
yes. Yeah.
Heart is warm.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what we're trying to do.
You mentioned it, but this is like, these things go unsaid and unnoticed in the industry too, like, or in even in sales, like customers appreciating us. Like typically a salesman will come in somewhere and bring somebody donuts and, hey, I'm here to do a visit and a cold call and all that. We had customers buying us lunch.
Yeah. I forgot about that. It was just today.
Yeah, the customer liked what we did so much and liked the service that they got from one of our girls that they handed her $100 and said, make sure everybody gets lunch.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
We all had Chick-fil-A today on him.
So that's the vibe that we got going on here.
Yeah, and I love that.
And it started when you came on board and started to get out of the mindset of we're only going to take customers in through word of mouth.
Yes.
So what's that been like since you started, and like what have you done here at Rock Hill Screen Printing to get us ramped up to where we are now?
Well, one of the we can talk about that in two different ways.
Okay.
One of the ways is like the things outside of the box that we're doing, and the grand opening party is one of that.
Yeah.
Like that's not something a traditional screen printing shop would do. You may have an open house and say, "Come watch me print these shirts." Well, bro, nobody wants to come sit in your hot, sweaty screen printing shop and watch you print shirts,
Yeah.
They want a reason to come. They want the music. They want the beer. They want, the hat bar. They want all of that. And then they'll come look at your shirts while they're bringing their families to do something cool.
Yeah.
So that's one of them. Our partnership with the local university, I think that people know that we're here in Rock Hill and we want to be involved in the community as much as possible. Our partnerships with our local charities, we try to give back as much as possible. We try to promote them and like network and warm lead people. Jeremy, you're really good at like, if someone needs something, you'll connect people warmly.
Yeah.
Like that's just the standard and we don't need anything back from it.
Yeah.
So I think those are the things that are a little bit outside of the box.
Right.
We also, like, all of our marketing is happy. We talk about the dogs a lot. We don't just talk about T-shirts.
Yeah.
I
think the dogs are a huge thing.
Everybody get a dog. We're very
Everybody comes in a dog. Dexter. It started off with Dexter, and then Moon came aboard.
Yes.
And then Moon went.
Moon.
I know Moon went to live in Florida with my son. And then we get in now Oakley and Ted.
Yes.
And
Double
trouble. And they're puppies, so they pee everywhere.
0 accidents today, though.
Oh, okay.
Knock on wood.
Yep. And so the dogs play a big part. I think the cool thing is you guys bring a lot of customers through our shop and take tours.
I love that. Like our showroom is something that I'm proud of. We have pictures of all of the employees. We put a lot of work into curating the garments that are up here. But when people come in and they're like, wow, this isn't what I've typically seen in a screen printing shop. And me and the girls are first off going, well, you haven't seen anything yet. Let us show you the back. And then we walk the people through the shop. We explain the whole screen printing process. And we introduce our customers to every single employee.
Yep.
And our employees know that they should stop and say hello.
Yep. And that's a training thing for us. And we like to have a nice, clean shop, too.
Yep. The clean shop, everybody always comments on that. But the thing they comment the most is that every employee talks to them and acknowledges them and says, hey, what's up? Or nice to meet you.
And these are business people coming through. So they end up like saying, hey, how are you doing this? Like you're modeling this model that you guys got going is really, really cool. You know,
Yeah.
you guys are rock stars when it comes to this stuff, and so that's really encouraging as well.
We're trying it.
Yeah.
Trying. The other thing was sales. You know, when I came into Rock Hill Screen Printing, Haley was here. She's a rock star. Kelsey was here. She had just started, I think, maybe a month or two before I came over. So, and at that point, like, things were ramping up and merging all the businesses together and everything. It was a little bit chaotic.
Well, I think you had to learn the way we did things.
Correct.
Compared to the way you did things. And then we had to start to, like, at some point, like, once you did that, I think you took the reins and then we're like, go for it. And you went and did things completely differently. It seemed like we grew it into something completely different because we weren't doing the things that we probably should have been doing to push that growth.
You know, I think both of our shops were at this like stagnation point. Like, we were growing, but it wasn't aggressive growth. And I think that's because we were both really good at different things, but we weren't good at everything. I had been thinking about that this past week about my shop, and like, I just love sales, but I was always getting into these vicious sales cycles of I would sell too much for my production team, and then I would have to pull the reins back, and then I would be on press, or you know, I would pull Nate in on a weekend and be like, oh, guess what, babe? We're printing shirts all weekend, you know, because I oversold. And
well, I remember like stamping shirts and stuff. Like that one weekend you stamped like
4th of July weekend. It was like 3,500 shirts.
Jeez. Okay. So
yeah. And I ruined our 4th of July.
Yeah.
You know? And that's not the first time that it happened. Because I took an order, because when you have a big order and a big client, like that was my biggest client at the time. And I was like, well, they want something from me.
Yeah.
I need to get it done. So I don't think I would have ever been able to get to the growth that we have here, because I wasn't willing to let go and like let people take other things that they were good at.
Let's stop right there, because I think that this is the biggest reason why people don't grow. And I know that there's people listening to our podcast right now who are going, I can't get past this point where I, like what we just said we were at. I can't get past it. And they can't figure it out, but they don't realize that they're in their own way.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
You are.
And I feel like it takes us to get over ourselves a little bit in order to grow.
And I will say, you have to get over yourself, but also like you have to stop being fearful, and you have to have the right team too. You're
gonna have to spend money.
Yeah, and I'm very risk averse when it comes to that kind of stuff. Like, you guys laugh because you're like, who needs a grass wall? You're not afraid to spend money. But when it comes to adding another employee and another mouth to feed, I am.
Yeah, that's
like, this is you write the check, it's done.
Yeah.
But another mouth to feed and another family that you're supporting with your skills. For me, sales. Yeah. Well, that's scary.
It's pressure to maintain that employee too, right?
So, I think that held me back for a while, and you got to get out of your own way. And if you're not good at that stuff, you've got to partner up with somebody who is good at the thing that you're not good at.
Yes.
And don't be afraid to do that.
Yeah. So you hit that point. We hit that point as a company. And then what were the things that you started to do? Did you, like, we hired more people?
Yeah. So when I came over here first, when we merged, it was just like a free-for-all. And I just said, for a month, I'm just going to learn how the team here does things. Like, I'm going to bring my clients, but I'm going to just sit back and watch how the sales team currently operates. And then about a month, I ripped off the Band-Aid and I said, all right, no more.
Yeah. Well, we were like triple growth then too. It was crazy.
I was like, no more. We're not doing, like, I'm going to teach you how to write an email. I'm going to teach you verbiage. I'm going to teach you sales, because not a lot of people have been trained in sales. People have been doing sales since they were children or teenagers or whatever, but I've been trained in sales.
Yep.
And I still go through sales training with Kevin and his Sales Inc. But like, sales is something I'm passionate about. So I'm constantly learning about it and how to sell. And most people who are thrust into sales are not. So like creating sales goals, creating metrics, training, how to talk to people, how to upsell, how to cross-sell. Jeremy, how many banners or stickers did you sell before I came over?
We didn't. And that was the thing that I was going to say, is that like upselling was huge for us, because I don't feel like I wasn't in sales. Like I wasn't good at sales. Jill was busy with all kinds of stuff. So it literally was Haley and Kelsey.
Yeah.
And the time it takes to train somebody, they were just overwhelmed with just people walking in the door.
Yeah.
They were just happy to get through the dang quote and get them out of the shop, because they were, some of this stuff was taking a long time. And then on top of that, we buy a printer that can print banners and decals and do all this stuff. And nobody was selling any of that, because we just it didn't seem like that was like the natural progression. But now it's the natural progression. Not only do you walk in our shop and see decals everywhere, you see promo everywhere, you see banner stuff. We talk about all the different things we can do.
Yeah.
And I think we're really pushing that more.
The girls, we have sales meetings every Monday or Tuesday, depending on the week. But, we start to talk about, okay, how would you act in this situation? Sell me a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Okay, what else do you say at the end of the conversation? Do you say, do you need any mugs, or do you need any stickers? Or did you know we can do banners in a week here?
Yeah.
Like a lot of people don't know that.
It's interesting. I was at the plumbing store the other day, and the guy was like, here, what do you need? And I told him what I needed. And we got it, and he goes, what else? And I was like, I don't think there's anything else. Hey, do you have this? Actually, I don't have that. Okay, we've got that for you. What else? Right? It just seemed like, what else? What else? What else? And I wanted to oh crap, I'm forgetting something almost.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's for him just to say, what else?
Yeah. So I think having the showroom with people with ideas, because we still get people, do you do embroidery? Well, yeah, we do embroidery. We've been doing embroidery forever,
right,
but now they can see our wall of hats and that we do embroidery.
Well, I love their little retractable banner thing too. We got a miniature retractable banner.
Because I don't like the way the big one looked in the showroom, so I found a mini retractable banner that's cute.
Yes.
But I think, when you're setting up your showrooms or anything like that, you need to have the things you do, but it also needs to look cute and appealing to people, not just a bunch of junk strewn everywhere.
Yeah.
Because then people won't look at it. They're just going to be like, I got to get out of here as fast as I can.
So I think so far we've talked about all the things that we've done internally, but we've done some things externally as well. Like we've gotten out and about, and we do the community stuff for sure. But you're going and visiting Rally Pickleball, and you're going and there's some outside stuff going on, right?
I really like to go visit people.
Yeah.
And I like to geek out over their facilities and what they're doing. And say that, for instance, that's just one, Rally Pickleball. I have in downtown Charlotte, there's a row of breweries and really cool hip areas. And we have 3 clients on that row.
Yeah.
So they always introduce me to the other ones. Yeah. And so I just say, hey, let me come by. And I'm going to drop off shirts at this one client. And I'll stop by. And then they have their apparel hanging up. And we just sit there and go and talk through it. I do a little Instagram video of their facility. And then I send a follow-up email how cool is your space? I love it.
Yeah.
3 orders this week.
Yeah. I thought it was cool. You went with Nothing Pink. Was that wasn't here, was it?
No, we went over to Nothing Pink's new location.
Right. So you went over to their new location and you did a video from there.
Mm-hmm.
But it went on Rock Hill Screen Printing's page. So, but it was also promoting them. So I thought that was really cool.
We promoted Nothing Pink, and we also promoted one of our BNI partners.
Okay.
So the video was shared in both places.
Yeah.
Which was nice. BNI is our networking group I do every Wednesday, and that group is coming along nicely. I know BNI, it may not be everybody's jam, but the social media coordinator over there. He's got some fresh ideas.
Yeah.
And like, you don't even have to just take them from there. You can take them into your own business and do things like that. Like, call one of your business clients. Hey, you want to do a video? And we can both promote somebody else. And we're not just saying the same things all the time.
And we're trying to think outside the box with a lot of things. I know that you mentioned you visited those bar areas and all that. I think it's just important to go visit your customers or even the potential customers that you want.
Yeah.
And show, wear a Rock Hill Screen Printing shirt, but also show that you want to support them too.
Yeah.
Because people like to be supported.
Spend money,
Spend money.
One of the things when we went to P&M Apparel, they had these little cards that they leave, and we haven't done it yet, but it's on my list of things I want to do, is just like when we're out at a bar or we're out eating dinner, like, hey, also I make shirts.
Yeah.
And don't say anything about it. Just leave the card.
Yeah.
It's very cheap to do that. But most places that most prospects, you need to touch them 10 times before they'll buy anything from you. So. And
I've heard people talk about like going after prospects by just literally making them a shirt or whatever. Like. Yeah. And I think that's possible nowadays with the direct to film.
So we're going to do that in the fall. We're making prospect boxes for all the schools.
Okay.
Where we're going to have a water bottle and a t-shirt and some other promotional item in there, and just go ahead and give it to all the new PTA presidents.
Yeah.
I don't know what will come of it, but hopefully it can't hurt,
It cannot hurt. Anything free.
Yeah.
And surprising people like that, I think that's huge.
Yeah.
And the fact that we're willing to spend money without getting anything in return.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's why I said you got to spend money. People don't think those things through. Like, oh, I'm on a tight budget. I can't hire somebody, or I can't even move out of my garage. Yeah. But the reality is you need to move out of your garage if you want to grow.
Yeah, you need to do things smart, but you have to spend a little money.
You might need to buy an auto. You might need to hire an employee. You might need, there's a lot of things that you might need to do to kind of grow that.
So I do want to talk about that when you're talking about hiring employees and stuff, like hiring a sales team, training your sales team.
Yeah.
You guys cannot just hire salespeople and put them and just leave them.
Yeah.
Like, that's not the responsible way to do it, and then it's not ever going to work out for you that way.
What are some of the things you did when you just recently brought in? You recently brought in a salesperson.
Yes, another one.
What is so Lauren is her name. What did you do to? What was your kind of mindset, and what did you do to help train her, get her ready to do this job?
So not do sales for a little bit. I think we did a week of like her just going around and observing, and I had a checklist of like 30 minutes with art today, 30 minutes with embroidery, 30 minutes with our production manager, had her go around, and then like after a couple of days do that round again, because the second time you go, you're going to learn different things, or you're going to pick up different vernacular than the first time,
right? Because
you were overwhelmed the first time.
What was cool is she harkened back, because during her interview, I remember taking her through the dark room and explaining to her how complicated it was to make a t-shirt. Mm-hmm. And then she came back out, and when she was observing production, and she ended up on press. So like she learned how to take a shirt off a press. So she was pulling, and she was then stacking, and they went through one whole job on the auto. Yeah. And she sweated her butt off.
Good.
But I'm like, how cool is this that you just learned the entire process and you actually worked it so that you knew exactly what an underbase is, why we're doing it.
Also, like, you spent some time in other people's shoes. So when you don't put your information in a quote, you're going to see how it directly impacts the rest of your team,
Yeah.
So that's important to me.
Yeah.
Also, like, okay, just first answer the phone. Do it on speakerphone, but then don't be afraid to pass off. Just get comfortable answering the phone and just saying our phone number, saying our address.
Yeah.
Saying.
I noticed that you had her on speakerphone and that somebody else was listening in and kind of giving her verbal cues on what to do.
Yeah. And then, so it took about a week to 2 weeks before we let her touch a quote.
Okay.
And then, you can do a quote, but not a complicated quote.
Right. And then it had to be with you, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I had the other sales girls pass off a client that they felt like was an easy layup for, Okay. But also when you pass it off, you need to give her the full details of this client. You need to tell her how to handle them. And then also you need to check on the quote too when she's done with it before she sends it to the client. So it invested the other salespeople into the process of passing their workload off.
Yeah.
But also it gave them a training opportunity too. Like, okay, if you want to move up, you're going to have to start training people, but this is the way we're going to do it. We're going to give them full information, and we're also going to be held accountable for the work that they're doing
Right.
too.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I think, man, there was a lot. I feel like it went so fast because how long? She just started like a month ago?
I don't even know.
But I feel like she knows, like she's in it now.
She's doing really well.
She's in it now.
Yeah, she's doing really well.
So I do have to ask, like, from a owner's perspective, both of us being an owner here, what's the hope of hiring? Like, what's the impact hope of hiring another salesperson? Because we had 3 basically.
Yeah.
So 3 or 4. What was that hope? Was there a percentage that you were aiming to ramp up from her joining the team? Was there?
Yes.
Like, was there?
So my initial is just to take a little bit of load off everybody else because
Gotcha.
I could tell my team was getting burnout and I was getting burnout too. And then I felt like a lot of the side projects that I had been wanting to do haven't been getting done. You know, whether that's like tags on every shirt in the showroom or these boxes I want to do for fall, and fall is our major push for revenue. So like, how am I going to get all that done if I'm still doing quotes all day, every day too? So that was the first, and I could tell my lead sales gal was getting burnout too, you know, and doing a great job. But you get those vibes.
Yeah.
So take a little load off, and then also, okay, fall's coming. How are we going to handle fall?
Yeah.
If everybody's burnout in spring.
Right. No, absolutely. Yeah.
You know? So that's my hope, is to get her fully trained and up and going. So when we hit August, like, we're rocking and rolling.
Yeah. And so this allows not only for things to be done, like you said, easier, you know, to smooth out the processes for the other employees, but it also allows them to actually do their job, and for you to also invest more into the business than working on the business, which is what you were doing with working on quotes and things like that. Right?
I really feel the responsibility for increasing sales is on me as the person in charge of sales.
Yep.
It's not my sales gal's job. It's my job to equip them and give them the environment where they can make that happen. And then I'm doing the marketing activities that makes it so people are coming to them during the day and increasing sales that way.
What I like is that you're actively trying to get rid of things. Like we talked before, that's something people struggle with, actively trying to get rid of some of that control over that, you know, maybe the quote side of things or whatever. Like, I don't know everything I have to see. I have to see everything. I watched the movie Burnt last night. That guy had to see every bit of every dish that went out because he was afraid that somebody was going to criticize it, and it was all on him. But then what he realized is he had to let it all go and trust his team to be able to build those dishes just the same as what he would want. And then that's when he earned his Michelin star.
I will say, like, I still check in with everybody.
Sure.
We have quote sheets that the gals do, and I will spot check things. I don't check every single one, but I will spot check. And Jill is great about that too. She spot checks.
You have to.
We just got, like, when you're doing sales for t-shirts, that it's just not a cookie cutter, you know? Like, every single job we get in here is different than the last one. And so things are going to get messed up. Things are going to be omitted. So spot checks and making sure pricing is right on target, or like if we're seeing a trend where we're like, we're not making as much profit on these jobs as we should be, like, okay, well, pricing needs to change then. Yeah. You know, and that's not the sales girls' jobs to evaluate that. That's our job as owners. So I've kind of, like, my day is busy from the time I get here to the time I end, but I'm doing different things that I used to do.
Yep. Well, the fact that you said you got out, like, that's a good thing to me. Like, that you're able to, you're able to leave the shop and go visit.
Yeah.
Like that's
I would rather do that any day
that's
of the
huge
week
though.
too.
Like how huge is that? How huge is that for you guys, like watching, to be able to get to a point where it's okay, this thing will run without you here.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll touch certain
And that's
points.
our team. Like, you know, Haley, our lead sales, and Kelsey, that she's been here a while too. Like, and Lauren is doing great as well. But like, our team is really good.
Yeah. Yeah. So, we have gone through a hiring spurt recently.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes those people don't work out for whatever reason.
Yep.
And so we've gotten to the point now where we're couple of 3 weeks out in our business, so that we're getting really busy. We have to have these serious ownership talks about
in the hallway
about what to grow, like what to do next. So I feel like we just hired, and then now we're like, now we need to hire again, or we need to do something. We need to take action in order to keep on growing and moving forward.
I think that's what's really cool about having a 3-owner business is I can say like what I'm observing up here,
mm-hmm.
and I can be like, you guys, we just turned down 6 jobs today, like.
Right. That's
and
absurd.
It just keeps going because we're 3 weeks out on production, and like I need it. Like, how are we going to get through the fall if this is how we are right now?
Yeah.
So what are we going to do about it? And you know, it's nice because you can take your production situation back there and you can go like, this is where we can add. This is where we can add. And then Jill can take her finance situation because she runs the books and say, this is where we have money. This is where we don't. And like everybody just puts their heads together and the situation's handled.
Right. Like there's, and that's the crazy thing is like, it's like not just an answer. Like it's not just a, hey, the answer is we hire. Mm-hmm. That may not be the answer. Like, or like, I know that we talked last night and it was maybe we do hire and don't bring in a temporary because that we got to be ready. But then it was like today, it was like, no crap. The situation just changed overnight. Yeah. To where let's just bring in instant help.
I could see it building all week. And then yesterday I said no more for 3 weeks. And then I realized like I have my little drive-through window open all day. Yeah. And I hear, no, sorry, we're booked. No, sorry, we're booked. No, sorry, we're booked. And I was like, oh, crap.
I don't want to tell anybody that we're booked, but that's the reality.
Yeah.
It's and there's something about drinking ice. I get it in my mouth. What am I going to do with this big ass cube? Spit it back into the drink.
Please don't.
Well, anyways, I think that's a good transition.
Yeah.
Is there anything else we wanted to talk about?
No, but I think that this is a good transition for us because you guys know, I'm sure you've noticed, like we're not posting on the podcast as much as we were before.
Yeah.
And it's not because we're disengaged from the podcast. It's because we're very engaged in what's going on here. Yeah. We've moved. We've done this open house. And every month, I feel like me and Jeremy have said, and first we joined partnerships and merged the businesses. Yeah. And then we went through all those other big, huge changes. Yep. And every month we go, okay, let's just get through this. Mm-hmm. Then we'll go back to life as normal.
And we're not going back to life as normal. It's like been literally 9. How many months has it been since last? 9 months.
9 months. We could have a baby dog.
Yeah, we could. It's been 9 months. It's been nonstop growth. Yeah. I don't think there's been a break.
There hasn't.
It doesn't seem like always January, December, end of December and January. It didn't seem like that slowed down, even though it was supposed to.
It didn't.
Right?
No, we've been foot on the gas.
Yeah.
And I'm excited about foot on the gas.
Yeah.
Which is what leads us into this conversation.
Right.
We are excited about foot on the gas. We are going and meeting with clients. We are doing all these things to build and grow Rock Hill Screen Printing, which unfortunately leaves less time for
this.
You
know what they say about a rose, Christy?
No.
Is that you have to prune it. Something has to die in order for it to grow.
Oh, my orange tree is like that too.
Yeah, you have to flowers reproduce every year because they die.
Mm-hmm.
Something dies, and then something new is born.
That's very morbid.
I know it is. But so when we talk about our podcast, I think we've kind of subconsciously made a decision to back away from it slowly, but now it's all of a sudden we're like, no, we have an opportunity to really put all of our efforts towards Rock Hill Screen Printing.
Yeah. And I'm excited about it.
And so the podcast is going to have to take a back seat.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's going to die, but it's certainly not going to be active anymore for a while.
Yeah. I think we need to press the pause button on it. I have loved doing this podcast. Yeah. I've loved the people that we've gotten to meet through it, the events that we've gotten to go to, the people that come up to us at shows and say like they got little nuggets from our podcast or anything like that. I think that's why we started it initially.
Yeah.
But I have all these big things that I want to do with Rock Hill Screen Printing, and we have 18 people to feed here.
Yes.
So, I'm feeling very vested into doing that.
So, and I think easy way to think about it is that, the name Last Call for Plastisol might go away, but the personalities behind it aren't going away. And we haven't changed a thing as far as like the Rock Hill Screen Printing side. We joined forces and we're continuing to grow this business. So we're out there in the public. We're out there, on the social media and all that. I think the investment was separated. It was podcast and then it was Rock Hill Screen Printing.
Yes.
And I think if we remove podcast and just make focused on Rock Hill Screen Printing, then you might end up seeing us on a microphone with headphones on talking to the camera. Yeah. Or you might see us a little bit more in a reel, or you might see us out in the public, or you might see us at a show. But we're representing Rock Hill Screen Printing, and that's not a bad thing either.
I don't think so either. I still have a passion for like bringing the print community together. And we talked about this, like doing quarterly printer lunches in the Charlotte area and, classes or open houses for printers and things like that. But I think opening up our time to do those things is very important. And, I know you probably listened to it, but when I was on the Print Hustlers podcast earlier this year, Bruce asked me a question that was kind of like out of the box. And he's like, what's one of your major goals for the year? And I was like, to do less.
Yeah. Right.
And we haven't.
Yeah. We have not. We're doing more. Yeah.
I think by removing one thing, we can do other things better.
Yeah. I think you're right.
So, with that said, I really I didn't expect this podcast to go where it's gone.
30 episodes. Yeah.
It's
30.
Crazy.
This will be the 31st episode. Bi-weekly. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Not bad at all.
Yeah. So we've kind of gotten there. We've had some amazing sponsors.
Yes. The first one that we ever had was Blue Ridge.
Yep.
Screen Products. Aaron and Rebecca up at Blue Ridge. They were first on our team.
They helped us actually establish pricing and try to get that, at least to get it started. And then I think they recommended Monarch to come to get aboard.
Yeah. And Ian at Monarch, he's been nothing but supportive of the podcast. We love hanging out with him. And we love monarching, obviously. Yeah. But one of the things that I didn't expect, through getting sponsors, is we've got to know some really cool people.
Yes.
As people, and hang out with them and learn about their businesses and what they're doing in the industry too. So that's been really amazing.
Yeah, I think meeting up with like Ben from Print Grip. And then for him to come down, and even the people that didn't sponsor us, but the people that certainly did sponsor us, we've met up with Chad. Yeah. We've met up with Chad multiple times. We met up with Ben multiple times. We've met up with, obviously Aaron being local, Ian being local,
Andrew
James from PMI.
We've had the opportunity to go with Anatol places. Yeah. Which has been amazing. Yeah. I feel like we're missing one of our Corkham. Barry.
Barry coming down, hanging out with us, going out to dinner. We had an amazing...
Can't wait for that steak, Barry.
amazing dinner with him in Atlanta, and the crew, and Graphic Screen Fashion.
Yeah.
Had an amazing time with them. Yeah, the Franks we hung out with both the Franks then. That was fun. Yeah. Yeah, there was just AS Color's been kind of secretly in the background every once in a while.
Gildan.
Rick was so good for us. Gildan was good for us. Yeah, there was just a lot of people that were involved that were really, really good to us.
Yeah. So I want to thank all of those people, but I also want to thank all the shops that have listened to this podcast.
Yeah.
We're not saying goodbye.
Yeah.
But we're saying see ya in a bit.
Yeah. Right. Things may change. Heck, they change overnight. But so I think there is a lot of things that we're looking forward to this summer. I know I'm going to take some vacation. You're going to go
I'm going on my honeymoon.
You're going on your honeymoon.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We put it off for a year because we had the wedding last year and that was pretty expensive. So we wanted to save money for an epic honeymoon, and we're going to Glacier National Park and Yellowstone and Tetons.
Yep.
So it's going to be a good time. And then next week you're going to Nashville.
Yeah, we're going to do the Decorators Summit, Apparel Decorators Summit with Printing United there. And then I'm going to go see my son in Orlando.
Super fun.
So
I'm going to Pennsylvania too, but like Amish country, Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Do you have any any other things moving forward in the year for things you're looking forward to in the industry or anything like that?
I really am excited. I still want to go to Printing United in Vegas. But I really like the Women in Print. I have a couple people that I'm nominating for that.
Oh, so, cool. They're doing something at Printing United in Vegas too for that, I believe.
Yeah, that's
like a
when
dinner.
That's when they do it.
Okay.
So I'm really excited about that. And there's some really awesome women in this industry that don't get enough representation. So I think that award and what it's meant for and what it was created for is really important.
Yeah.
And one of my people is girl Megan from
P&M.
Yeah. And this is her brother on this shirt, which he's okay too, but...
Do you think that was their amazing artist Alex, or was that just ChatGPT?
I have no idea.
It looks pretty intense I think that might be a pretty cool AI design.
But what I will say about this shirt that they sent us is it's super soft. So
it's a district.
No, the print.
Oh, the print
is very good.
I talked to our artist about that.
Yeah, the print is very good.
It's we don't think that there's an underbase.
Mm-hmm.
We think that I would say 90% of it is halftones.
Yeah, I think it is halftones, but also I think there's probably some soft hand in this too.
Yeah.
But Ryan's face on my shirt makes me happy.
It's really cool. I think it's pretty cool.
Will it cannon?
But
their other shirt they sent me, that was some bullshit. It said Midwest is best.
Midwest is best. I'm an Ohio boy, so I am actually from a Midwest, but I'm pushing equal time in the South too, so I can totally see.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's funny. I actually talked to him chatted with him last night. I'm like talking about Nashville because he's going too, and we're like, have you ever been? He's like, no. And I'm like, well, those Midwesterners are okay for entertaining, and food and entertaining. So he got a kick out of that. But yeah, I'm going to take him a South Carolina shirt.
That'll be good.
So.
All right, Jeremy. Well, it's been real.
Yeah.
And it's been fun.
It has been fun.
It's been real fun.
It's not like we're leaving each other because we're gonna walk out of the room and get back to work.
You know what's gonna happen? I'm gonna go to my corner of the building, and you're gonna
just that's all we're gonna do is go to each other's corner. It'll be fine, and we'll see. I'll see you when we pass in the hallway and to go to the bathroom or something. That's the one thing about working together. I feel like it's I work with my wife and I also work with you. And there's no escape from each other sometimes.
No.
No. And then we're like, do we even want to be friends outside of this place?
And then we bought like lawn concert tickets together. And then like you guys last night, you're like, you guys want to go to karaoke? And I'm like, I just saw you guys.
I know. We got to take breaks from each other every once in a while.
But I do want to go to karaoke.
It's live band karaoke. It's really, really cool.
Yeah.
So with that being said, it's been fun, y'all. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.
And please switch your focus on over to our Instagram at Rock Hill Screen Printing. You'll see more of us. And keep in touch because we want to meet up with you, and we do plan on doing something for the industry real soon, at least locally.
Yeah, for sure.
For the local shop. So
until next time.
Cheers.
Cheers.